Welcome back to another episode at Consciously Evolving Enterprises. As always, I am your host, Mr. Ryan Dillon Brasington. Very interesting story again today, guys. This one actually is one of my teen years, and throughout today, actually, it's related to the cinema at Tuggerah. They've got a cinema there. It's been named over many different things over the years, but it is a Greater Union cinema. Still known as Greater Union today, and the Cinebuzz VIP. It's all shiny and new, and got their cocktail bar up the back. It looks beautiful. Back in my day, however, it was a good old red chairs and carpet, velvet walls, and good old flat screen. Back in my day as well, they also used to run a thing called movie marathons. Now, movie marathons were one where you'd go and watch literally 3 movies in a row. The 3 movies would actually start at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm telling you guys, there was literally thousands, maybe 1,000 or more teenagers filling every single seat of all these cinemas for the 3 hour movie marathon. There was at least, back in the day, 6 cinemas, and they ran all of them. It was unbelievable. People would bring their pillows, and before long, they had its dramas. The movies are getting shut down because people making out in the aisleway. Then drugs and alcohol got brought in, and people are smoking in the cinema. And unfortunately, one of these times during the movie marathon back in 1996, a young man would lose his life. Now, this is around the same time that I was attending the cinemas and attending the movie marathons. Now, I usually went with a couple of friends as well, and it very likely could have been someone that I knew or was associated with back in the day. However, when I was a teen, I was quite new to the coast, and these movie marathons were a way of getting to know people and new groups out of there before they started to get quite hectic and getting out of hand. Speaking about this young fellow that lost his life, unfortunately, it was from a knife. A knife was brought in, there was gang involvement, and unfortunately, this young man would lose his life. And the cinema that he lost his life in was Cinema 6. And that's on the right-hand side. There were 2 cinemas on the left, and the rest were all on the right. The renovated days these days, you've got the VIP right up the back, which is an extension, and you've got 7, 8, and then 9, where back in my day it was, 3, 4, 5, 6, so they pretty much converted them now, so you've got these luxury leather seats, quite large cinemas, VMAX, so they've knocked down the middle wall and made these cinemas now. I speak about this, guys, because it was on the right-hand side that I went to the cinemas one time, and I actually was dating a girl that went to high school with me. And I said to her, "Oh, do you remember back in the day when we had movie marathons?" She says, "Yeah, I do remember that." And she said, "Do you remember what happened?" And I said, "Yeah, that young fella got stabbed." And she said, "Yeah, that's right." And I said, "Do you remember what cinema that was in?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "I remember it was on the right-hand side, and I'm pretty sure it was cinema 6 or 7. And at the moment, those cinemas, that wall's been knocked down, and it is the VIP and then 6 and 7 in there. So it's the same cinema." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, right, okay, woo." I was like, "Yeah." We walked in, sat down, watching the movie, and I'm telling you guys, I'm not too sure if it was because we mentioned it beforehand, but I'm sitting down there, and the light shone on the movie, everything's gone dark, and I can see the silhouette of a person. It was shimmering in the light of the cinema, and I'm like, blink 2, 3 times. Oh my God, really? Am I looking at that? Can I see that right now? Whoa, I am looking at that. And Elbow, the girl that I was seeing at the time, "Well, can you see that? Are you looking at that?" And I'm telling her, I said, "I can see something down there. Can you see that?" And she literally put her hand over her eyes and she said, "I don't want to see it. No, I can't look. I don't want to see it." And she's literally now hiding a hand from the screen and this entity that's down the front. And I've got my hand over my mouth and I'm just rubbing it going, I'm really looking at this. I'm really seeing what I'm seeing. And this thing, whatever it was, a young fella or an entity, it walked across the base of the cinema at the front there and went up the stairs. And I swear it stopped where on the aisle that I was in,
For a second, I thought, no, please don't. Stop looking. Please don't come sit next to me. Please don't come sit next to me. All right? And then I look over and back over, it was gone. All right? I'm like, what the heck? Oh, wow. And then I tell her, look, it's gone. It was just over there. And then she's like, oh my God, thank you, you know. I think we're actually watching a horror movie as well. So compared to real life, seeing an entity down the front in a horror movie, completely different. And she shut down while the minute I watched it. Left the movie, guys. Didn't see the entity again in that time. But you know, a year on, I've got my teenage daughters. We're going to the cinema, and I tell them that same story from beginning to end. Oh, girls, hey, back in the day, a young fella actually lost his life in Cinema 6 is when we're going in today. And when I was dating Mel back in the day, I'm pretty sure I seen the ghost in there. And, you know, and my oldest daughter, Scarlett, her ears are pricked up. She's gone, really, Dad? Really? There's something, she's getting excited. There's something in there. My youngest, bit more timid, Lila, you know, she's like, Dad, no, I'm not sure if I want to actually go in the cinema now, thank you. Anyways, we went down, we sat down in the front, we watched a movie. We didn't see anything down the front this time, although we're looking, and we're like, really, good to see something again. Anyways, we got up, movies finished, the credits are rolling. On the way out, Scarlett stays in her seat, and she's taking selfies. She's clicking away, she's like, yeah, me at the cinema, yeah, look at me, you know, set them off. I've made my way out from behind her, walk behind her chair, and I can now looking at her, waiting for her, as she's taking these selfies. And I'm like, yeah, all right, we'll wait and put the rubbish in the bin, wait, and then that. And we get outside, we'll go out of the cinema, and then she's looking through the video, like her video pictures as she's going through the car park. And we look at him and she goes, Dad, what is this? And she went pale. And I'm like, what? What is that? Right? And she showed me this picture of something that's standing behind her, directly behind her. You can see the silhouette of someone standing front on behind her seat from waist up all the way to pretty much the top of their head, the silhouette of what looked like a young man. And I thought, nah, that's me walking past. And I thought, you know what? When I was walking past, I remember looking at her, and that's the time that she was getting onto whatever app it was before she took selfies. She wasn't actually taking them yet, I don't think. Well, maybe. But I thought I was walking past sideways, but it would be my silhouette sideways if I was walking past when she took the photo. I'm looking at this black silhouette in the background of her photo, and it is a straight-on image. You can see both arms standing there with the gap of the light from the stairs underneath them. Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, Scarlett got a photo of a ghost. Oh my God. And she's like, oh my God, freaking out. I did too, you know. And then you look even closer at the photo, and not only, pardon me, I've got to just clear my throat. Not only is that entity sitting in, standing in the background, in the seat next to her is the light, which I thought was the reflection of the screen, but the credits are rolling, so it's quite dark on the screen, and there is a round light, and as you look at this light, it starts to form a face. Now you're looking at this light that's reflective on the seat, sort of, kind of looks like that, with Scarlett's smiling head, and in the background, literally the silhouette of a young man all the way up to his head. Thin arms, quite thin body, straight up and down, and I'm like, that's not me. I'm not chubby or anything, I'm just straight up and down myself, but I was walking past. I didn't stop, you know, and we got to the bin, me and my youngest, Lila, threw our rubbish in as we're waiting for Scarlett to finish her selfies. She's got out, she's freaked out about it, and I said, look, you know, brush it off. It's still in the cinema. It didn't come with us. It's stuck in there. And then I said to the girls, next time we actually go there, I'm going to try my best to actually free it. I'm going to open up those exit doors and welcome it towards the light. And hopefully that young man or whatever entity it does gets some kind of rest and closure and resolve after all those years. Thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. As always, please like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do these days. And as always, thank you for listening.